The turkey steamed between them, untouched for too long. Lynn lifted her glass, pretending calm. Her mother smiled, the kind that meant nothing kind at all. "So," Mrs. My began, voice sweet, blade sharp. Still chasing little stories for pennies. Lynn took a sip of water, slow and steady. TU letter 1EA5 and shifted beside her. His knee brushed hers. He was nervous, polite, too kind for this room. "I'm not chasing," Lynn said. "I'm editing now." Her mother's knife paused in midair. "Editing," she repeated, disbelief hidden in silk. "At which paper?" "The Herald," Lynn said softly. "In Saigon." The silence stretched, thin as glass. Her father cleared his throat, but said nothing. Lan looked down, tracing the rim of her glass. "In Saigon," Mrs. My echoed, as if testing poison. "You're leaving your family for this nonsense." "It's my career," Lynn said. "A real opportunity." Mrs. My set her fork down with surgical precision. "If you walk out of this house for that job, don't come back." The words landed like frost across the table. No one moved. The clock in the hallway ticked like a heartbeat. Lynn felt her pulse in her palms, in her throat. "M letter 1EB9, she whispered, but the word cracked. Her mother's face didn't change. Cold, composed, certain. TU letter 1EA5, and reached for Lynn's hand beneath the table. "She worked for this," he said quietly. "It's not nonsense." Mrs. Mai's eyes slid toward him. "This doesn't concern you," she said. "It concerns her future." Lynn's voice rose, shaking but clear. "I'm 30, M letter 1EB9. I can decide for myself." "Decide," her mother laughed without humor. "You've been making mistakes since you learned to speak." Lynn's father pushed potatoes around his plate. No rescue, no word. He was always silent when it mattered. Lan whispered, "Just let it go." But Lynn couldn't. She saw the years of small cuts, the quiet humiliations. Every smile earned, every approval conditional. She felt something break, something long overdue. "I'm not asking permission," she said. Mrs. My leaned back, her voice a dagger. "Then you are no daughter of mine." Lynn stood. The chair scraped hard against the floor. Her napkin slipped from her lap to the table. "I guess that's goodbye," she said. Her mother's mouth tightened. "You'll be back when you fail." Her father still stared at his plate. TU letter 1EA5 and rose beside her, steady, silent. Lynn turned toward the door. Each step felt heavier, truer. The lights on the tree blurred behind her. Snow pressed against the windows, whispering escape. She opened the door, cold air rushing in. Her mother didn't follow. No one did. Outside, the world was quiet, white and wide. TU letter 1EA5 and joined her, wrapping a scarf around her neck. "You don't have to decide everything tonight," he said. Lynn looked back once, at the house that never felt like home. "I already have," she said. The door closed behind them with final grace. The snow kept falling, soft and endless, washing the night clean. Days blurred after Christmas. The silence felt heavier than her mother's words. Lynn sat at her kitchen table, surrounded by old journals. Pages yellowed at the edges, ink fading but still sharp. She traced her own handwriting, the girl she used to be. Each entry felt like a mirror she'd avoided too long. 14 years old, punished for writing a school essay. Her mother called it airing family shame. 17, quitting debate because girls shouldn't argue. 20, switching majors from law to journalism. That was the first time her tuition disappeared. Her father secretly helped, slipping money into her account. He said, "Don't tell your mother." That phrase became a family tradition. Every secret was a bruise covered in politeness. Lynn flipped another page, her heart beating slow. Every dream she had, her mother tried to rewrite. Friends labeled unfit. Lovers called distractions. Choices dismissed as phases. The pattern was a map of control. Her success was only valid if it matched her mother's script. TU letter 1EA5 and brewed coffee, watching her in silence. He knew better than to interrupt the excavation. She pushed a journal toward him. Look, she said. When I was 24, engaged to Min. Her voice cracked slightly. She told me he wasn't ambitious enough. TU letter 1EA5 and scanned the page, quiet. And you broke it off, he said softly. I thought it was my decision, Lynn replied. It never was. She laughed once without humor. She even chose the neighborhood I lived in. TU letter 1EA5 and reached for her hand. She built a cage, he said. And you decorated it. Lynn nodded, eyes wet but clear. For years I thought I was rebelling, she said. I was just playing by her rules. Outside, snow melted against the window pane. It sounded like slow applause. Lynn gathered the journals into neat stacks. This isn't about one dinner, she said. It's about 30 years. TU letter 1EA5 and smiled faintly. Then maybe it's time to start over. Later that evening, she called a therapist. Her voice trembled on the first words. I need help understanding my mother, she said. Dr. Tam's voice was calm, deliberate. You're not trying to understand her, he said. You're trying to understand why you kept obeying. Lynn inhaled, slow and deep. That sentence cracked something open. She stayed awake that night, rereading everything. The evidence was there, written by her own hand. Love measured by obedience. Affection granted like a salary. Her mother's care was a currency of control. And her father's silence kept it all intact. By dawn, Lynn had filled a new page. Not a confession. A declaration. This story is mine now, she wrote. She closed the notebook, fingers steady. The first morning sun touched her face. It felt like forgiveness. It felt like freedom beginning to breathe. The phone rang just after noon. Lynn stared at the screen, her mother's name glowing. Her stomach tightened, but she pressed answer. Lynn, her mother said, clipped and certain. I've been thinking, you need to cancel that job. Lynn said nothing, letting the silence stretch. Her mother filled it quickly. It's foolish to throw away stability for a dream. It's not foolish, Lynn said softly. It's mine. Mrs. My sighed, the sound sharp as glass. You'll regret this, you always do. Then I'll regret it on my own terms, Lynn replied. Her voice didn't shake this time. Her mother hesitated, then hung up without goodbye. Lynn stared at the phone until the screen went dark. Her pulse steadied instead of breaking. TU letter 1EA5 and entered, a scarf around his neck. She called, he asked. She tried, Lynn said. TU letter 1EA5 and smiled gently. That means you're winning. She laughed, the sound small but real. I'm just done losing, she said. They sat together, quiet warmth between them. After a moment, TU letter 1EA5 and reached into his pocket. A small velvet pouch appeared in his palm. What's this? Lynn asked. He placed it in her hand. Inside was a ring with a green stone. It's pro-night, he said. It helps people release what no longer serves them. Lynn traced the smooth surface with her thumb. It's beautiful, she whispered. It's not for decoration, TU letter 1EA5 and said. It's a reminder. A reminder of what? That you get to choose. Lynn smiled, tears threatening but kind ones. She slipped the ring onto her finger. It glowed softly under the afternoon light. Later that day, she spread papers across the table. Bank forms, lease agreements, resignation drafts. Her new life in motion, one document at a time. She titled her notebook, Freedom Plan. It made her laugh, but it felt right. Each task was a step away from permission. A new bank account. A separate phone plan. A budget that belonged only to her. She even listed names to keep or release. Those loyal to her mother went on a different page. TU letter 1EA5 and watched her write, eyes full of quiet pride. You're rebuilding from the inside out, he said. Lynn nodded, the pen steady in her hand. I've spent years waiting for approval, she said. Now I'm giving it to myself. She taped her new job offer above the desk. The letterhead gleamed like a promise. Port Herald features editor. Her future printed in bold ink. That night, she cooked dinner for them both. It wasn't fancy, but it tasted like peace. TU letter 1EA5 and raised his glass. To new beginnings, he said. Lynn touched her ring, smiling. To finally choosing myself, she replied. Outside, the city hummed with quiet life. Inside, her world was changing, one heartbeat at a time. The fear was still there, but softer now. It had started turning into strength. The rumors came first. A cousin called to check in, her tone soaked with pity. Your mother says you're struggling, she whispered. Lynn hung up before she could finish. Another message arrived from an old friend. Are you okay? People said you had a breakdown. Lynn exhaled slowly, anger simmering under calm. Her mother was rewriting her again, one story at a time. Control disguised as concern. Shame disguised as protection. TU letter 1EA5N found her packing the room, fists tight. She's spreading lies, Lynn said. I thought silence would stop her. It only feeds her. Then speak louder, TU letter 1EA5N replied. That night, Lynn began drafting emails. Short, professional, precise. To mentors. To colleagues. To the new editor who'd hired her. She mentioned the promotion, the move, her excitement. Every message was evidence of stability. Proof before poison could spread. When she hit send, her hands stopped trembling. The next morning, her father knocked on her door. He stood awkwardly, hat in hand. Your mother didn't mean what she said, he began. She's worried, you know how she gets. Lynn folded her arms, steady. She called me dead to her dad. She doesn't mean that, he said softly. She's just hurt. Then she can heal without controlling me, Lynn said. Her father sighed, eyes tired. She's been telling people you're unstable. She told the pastor, the neighbors. Lynn's chest tightened, then loosened. The old panic didn't return this time. She wants to discredit me, she said. Her father didn't deny it. She's afraid of losing you, he murmured. She already did, Lynn answered quietly. He looked at her, something shifting behind his eyes. I didn't stop her, he said. No, Lynn agreed. But you still can choose differently. He nodded, silent. When he left, Lynn sat by the window. Outside, the snow had turned to rain. Each drop felt like truth washing away disguise. She opened her notebook, adding a new section. Reputation strategy. Every name, every contact mapped with care. It wasn't revenge. It was reclamation. TU letter 1EA5N brought her coffee, watching her type. She can't reach you anymore, he said. She'll try, Lynn replied. But she can't touch what she doesn't own. Her voice was calm, almost serene. Later that night, she checked off another box. New phone plan confirmed. Bank transfer complete. Apartment lease finalized. Her life, brick by brick, rebuilt without her mother's name. Before bed, she stared at her reflection. Same face, but different light in her eyes. Not defiance. Clarity. Freedom wasn't loud. It was quiet, deliberate, unshakable. And for the first time, Lynn realized she didn't need to run. She was already gone. The receptionist looked uneasy. There's someone in the lobby asking for you, she said. She says it's your mother. It's an emergency. Lynn froze, the words slicing through her calm. Of course it was her. Of course she would come here. Her new life wasn't hers until it was tested. Lynn straightened her blazer, heartbeat steadying. Tell her I'll be right there, she said. Her steps echoed through the newsroom. each one measured, deliberate. When she reached the lobby, her mother was waiting. Impeccable coat, perfect hair, eyes blazing. "Lynn," Mrs. Mai said, voice trembling with authority. "We need to talk, now." "There's no emergency, is there?" Lynn asked quietly. "This isn't the place." Mrs. Mai ignored her. "You've embarrassed this family enough. Come home." Lynn felt eyes turning toward them. Reporters pausing mid-call, curious. "Mother," Lynn said softly, "this is my workplace." Her mother's face hardened. "This isn't you talking. It's that boy. It's his fault." "It's my choice," Lynn replied. The security guard shifted nearby. "Ma'am," he said carefully, "please lower your voice." Mrs. Mai turned on him, outraged. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes," Lynn said. "She's my mother, and she's leaving." The words came calm, final. Mrs. Mai blinked, disbelief flickering. "You'd humiliate me like this," she hissed. "You did that yourself," Lynn answered. "Security," the guard asked gently. "Should I escort her out?" Lynn nodded once. "My mother was just leaving." Mrs. Mai stared at her, stunned. "You'll regret this," she said. "Maybe," Lynn replied. "But it will be mine to regret." The guard led her toward the doors. Her heels clicked like gunfire across the marble. Then the glass shut behind her, sealing the air still. Lynn stood there, chest rising, trembling not from fear but relief. Her editor stepped out from his office. "You handled that with grace," he said. Lynn managed a breath. "Thank you." Back in her office, she dialed Dr. Tam. "She came here," Lynn said. "At work." The therapist's voice was steady. "And how did you respond?" "I stayed calm," Lynn said. "I didn't let her define me." "That's progress," he said. "She's losing control, and you're gaining it." When the call ended, Lynn texted TU letter 1EA5N. "She showed up," she wrote. His reply came fast. "I'm outside if you need me." Lynn glanced at the window. Snow was falling again, soft and slow. Her reflection stared back at her, stronger, steadier. The fear that once ruled her now felt distant. She closed her laptop, stood tall, and whispered, "This ends on my terms." Outside, her mother's car pulled away into white distance. Inside, Lynn finally exhaled. Not a sigh of exhaustion, but release. It was over, and she had won, not against her mother, but against the version of herself that once obeyed. The newsroom buzzed with life. Phones rang, keyboards clattered, laughter drifted through the air. Lynn sat at her new desk, sunlight warming her shoulders. Her nameplate read, "Features Editor." It still felt unreal. 1 month had passed since the confrontation. Her mother hadn't called again. The silence was heavy but peaceful. Lynn's stories were thriving. Her team trusted her, listened when she spoke. Her ideas mattered here. During lunch, TU letter 1EA5N texted, "Clam cakes today." She smiled, typing back always. Normal life had begun to feel extraordinary. That afternoon, the receptionist appeared again. Her face pale. "Your mother here," she whispered. Lynn's pulse skipped but steadied. "Tell her I'll meet her outside." No running, no hiding. She walked through the lobby, head high. Her mother waited near the entrance, less polished this time. "Lynn," she began, voice thinner than before. "We need to talk." "Then talk," Lynn said. Mrs. Mai sighed, searching for old power. "Your father canceled the club membership." Lynn blinked, surprised. "He said we need to stop pretending," her mother continued. "He's lost his mind." "No," Lynn said softly. "He finally found it." Her mother frowned, confusion flickering. "You've turned him against me." "No one can turn truth into betrayal," Lynn replied. "You're just seeing it." Mrs. Mai's tone shifted, trembling. "You're cruel, after all I've done." "You did everything to make me small," Lynn said. and I'm done shrinking. For a moment, her mother said nothing. The lobby was silent, except for the hum of the heater. Clara's wedding is in August, Mrs. Mai murmured. Will you even come? If she asks me herself, Lynn said. This isn't between us. Her mother straightened her coat, trying to recover poise. You sound like a stranger. I sound like myself, Lynn answered. Mrs. Mai opened her mouth, then closed it again. For the first time, she had no script. Lynn watched her turn and leave, each step smaller. When the doors shut, the air felt lighter. Later that evening, Lynn spoke to Dr. Tam. She looked lost, Lynn said. That's not my burden anymore. That's acceptance, he replied. You're no longer reacting, you're choosing. Lynn nodded, understanding. Weeks passed. Her feature series on rebuilding families won an award. TU Letterwania 5N proposed with a quiet smile. The same green ring still shone on her finger. It's always told your story, he said. At home, Lynn received a letter in familiar handwriting. Her mother. Apologies inked between neat lines. I'm seeing a therapist, the letter said. You were right to walk away. Lynn folded it gently, eyes soft but dry. Forgiveness didn't need to be dramatic. It could be quiet, earned, patient. She wrote one line in reply. I'm open to talking when respect is mutual. That night, Lynn stood by the window, watching city lights flicker. Her reflection smiled back, steady, whole, free. Outside, the snow began again, endless and clean. This time, it didn't feel cold. Spring sunlight spilled through the window. Lynn stood by her desk, a cup of coffee in hand. A new article draft glowed on the screen. Choosing yourself, the headline read. She smiled at the irony. A year ago, those words would have terrified her. Now they felt like truth. TU Letterwania 5 and entered, camera hanging from his shoulder. You ready? He asked. Almost, she said. She slipped the emerald ring back onto her finger. The city outside hummed with quiet promise. Her phone buzzed, a message from her mother. Thank you for the call. I'm proud of you. Lynn read it twice, calm and steady. She typed back, so am I. No bitterness. No fear. Just peace. Later, as she locked the door, she glanced around. The room no longer felt borrowed. It was hers entirely. Every choice. Every boundary. Every breath. Outside, the wind carried the scent of salt and new beginnings. Lynn took TU Letterwania 5 NS hand, laughing softly. When they said I'd be dead to her, she murmured. They didn't know that's when I finally began to live.